Every single time I turn my camera on, it tells me that I'd film better if I had a clean lens. Really? I didn't know that. I opened this one upstairs. I haven't had any of it yet. I'm using my new cork, but I just picked this one up. I was looking for a different one than I had over Thanksgiving, which was really, really delicious. And then I thought, well, if I already know how it's going to taste, I don't know how a taste testing video will go when I already know the outcome. So I grabbed this one, plus they were out of stock for that one, and they won't have it for a couple more days. So I'm going to try this one. It is called Dreaming Tree Crush. It's a red wine from California. Let's see. Special blend, hand selected from our favorite varieties. Pulls you in with notes of smoky berry and a pop of raspberry jam. 2 hot dogs in a pickup. A hot day, 2 dogs chase a stick, thrown into a pond again and again. The older, slower dog never gets the stick and moans at the effort, but always goes in, maybe this time. Are those lyrics from a Dave Matthews song? Should I ask Liz? Liz, tell me, are those lyrics from a Dave Matthews Band song? So, unlike the rest of my videos, I'm actually trying a red this time. Now, I have tried reds before. I don't know if I've tried any on this video series, but the one I had on Thanksgiving that I'm talking about was a red wine. So I loved this bottle, and I don't know why, the Dreaming Tree. It reminds me of a movie I watched once, and now I can't think of it. Something similarly named. It smells sweetish. It smells like a red. It's almost thick when you pour it. I'm using my new mug. Oh, it's gonna be hard to see because of the bright light. Yeah, it says Crochet.
Oh, right.
From Christopher, yep. Hold on. I don't know.
That didn't fall whatsoever.
It's not bad.
Should have done a countdown. Should have done 1, 2, 3.
I don't taste the raspberry jam, but I do have that smoky flavor. I do pick that up. This has, ooh, this is very warming. That's what red wines do. I'm posting this video to the pattern that I just uploaded, and this pattern is fairly simple. It's not going to be a beginning pattern, but it's not going to be an advanced pattern either. It'll be intermediate. It's going to be easy enough probably for a beginner to pick up, but at the same time you do need to know some basic pattern reading and stitch work. On that note, I did have a friend, her suggestion was that I do this video on how to complete the hexagon because it may be a little too much for some to understand. So being that this is my first pattern that I'm actually producing onto the blog, I'm going to do a quick video to show you how those hexagons are completed. So bear with me. If you have questions, you can refer to this video, or I will always answer questions. Enjoy. So first we're going to start with the magic circle. So good. This is how I complete the magic circle. I'm going to grab it like this. Make a slip knot around the loops. You're shaking the table though.
Just a little.
Yeah. And we're going to chain 2. You could chain 3 because it's kind of like a double crochet. Honey, stop leaning on the table because you're shaking really bad. Huh?
I don't know how to balance on this until I'm ready.
Oh, then get off of it.
You're rude.
We're gonna yarn over. This is gonna be our first cluster. So pardon me, my child has my attention right now. We're yarning over, inserting into the magic circle, pulling up a loop, and we're gonna pull through just 2 of the loops on our hook. So we're leaving 2 here. Okay. Oops. Sorry. Fighting with the yarn because I can't see what I'm doing. Yarn over, insert, yarn, pulled up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Now we have 3 remaining on our hook. We're going to do it one more time. So essentially we do that 3 times in a row. It's the beginning of a double crochet, 3 different times. The last step is to yarn over and pull through all 4, and then we're going to chain 1. In this step, you can choose to chain 1 or chain 2. I felt 1 was sufficient, but 2 wouldn't give you a bigger gap to crochet into for your second round. It's not going to change the pattern in any way. Christopher, quit leaning on the table, man. You're shaking.
Sorry, I get speed.
Grab the staircase.
That's too high.
So that's 1 cluster made. Now we're going to do the same 5 more times in the magic circle. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, pull through all 4. And then chain 1. Working with.
It would be hard to teach me to do.
I don't know whether I should look through the camera or look through the or look past the camera into my work. So there's 2 clusters. And we're going to repeat this until we have 6 in the magic circle. So I've just completed the 6th cluster. And with my tail of my magic circle, I pulled it tight. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first cluster I made. And I always drag my tails along and work them under my work until they disappear. So I slip stitched through the top, and now I'm going to slip stitch into the chain 1 space between the 2 clusters. Okay, slip stitch, and now we can chain 2. We're going to do a cluster here. And since this is our corner, 1 of 6, we're going to chain 2. Okay? And into that same chain 1 space, we're going to work another cluster. Now we're just going to chain 1 and find your next space. 1, 2, 3. Again, this is a corner, so chain 2 and do another cluster in that same space. 2. My tail is gone now. And then chain 1 at the end of that corner. So see, there's 2 in this space. 2 clusters in this space. I'm going to finish that all the way around. There'll be 2 in every chain 1 space. Right here. If you chose to chain 2, this would be a bigger space. Obviously, it would look more like this around round 1. But again, that's personal preference. Whatever you choose to do. I'm going to go ahead and complete that, and there will be 12 clusters when I'm finished with round 2. So I finished with the last 2 clusters, and I chained 1 at the end. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first cluster, and beginning of round 3 would be a slip stitch into the chain 2 space that we're going to work into next. Okay, so chain 2, and we're going to do another corner here. So we're going to do 1 cluster, chain 2, and a second cluster in the same space. I mean bully. And then a chain 1. And on this one, we're going to do a cluster in between the 2 corners. This is the middle of the one side. So this is just a single cluster, and it's separated from the corner clusters by just 1 chain 1. This is our final round, so we don't have to worry about spacing really. But now I'm at a corner again, so I'm going to do 2 cluster stitches with a chain 2 in between, which forms the corner. 2 and 3, and then a chain 1. We're back to the other center. I'm going to go ahead and finish this round and show you how I tie off. Completing the last cluster here, and then chain 1, slip stitching into the top of the first cluster. And what I'm going to do here is just pretend I'm doing a chain 1. I'm going to pull this through, and I leave about 1 inch or 2 here, and I'm going to snip it right there. Boop. And now my hexagon is finished. Let's see if I can zoom out here. All 6 corners here. Then when you go to attach all the pieces, you're going to make 60 of these. And following the charts, I just go corner to corner and whip stitch them. And a whip stitch is just a simple yarn and thread right through each stitch of the hex and the adjoining hex, piecing them together. Hey, so I hope that was easy enough to follow. You can look up your favorite whip stitch techniques online. I am going to post a tutorial video on how I do a zipper join, which I know a simple Google search will bring that up. I found that technique online years ago. I don't know who to give credit to for that. That was before I was really doing anything like this, but that's how I attach all of my granny squares for everything. And really it's doing a slip stitch in just the back loop of one hex and the next hex. So you're just grabbing the back loop of each and then doing a slip stitch, and then the back loop of the next stitch on each and slip stitch. So it makes it look like a zipper. And honestly, I feel like it's the most sturdy, and it actually helps them lay a little flatter, and it looks nice. So what I did on mine, which you can find photos of on the website, there's a glittery yarn that I love to use, and I accented the white pieces to make it look like a glittery snowflake. So I used this fun party yarn. It's a silver, and it just made it pop. But I will try and find a link to that zipper stitch. If I can't find one, then I will do a tutorial myself, along with a long list of other tutorials that I want to do. So I really hope you enjoy my very first published pattern. I have so many up here and so many already written up that I just need to get photos finished of the process and the final product. So stay tuned for many more patterns, but I really appreciate you trying this one out, and I would love to see your photos. Enjoy making this project because I enjoyed writing it. Thanks for tuning in.